Hello, welcome to Operation Remote Resilience. My name is Aron. I'm a certified Warriors at Ease teacher, and today our all levels yoga flow is designed to help you build strength and resilience as sort of a welcome to summer practice. And we're also, when we're building strength, going to be thinking a lot about these muscles around the trunk of our body, our core. Um, so feel free to go ahead and take an easy seated posture. If you've got any gear you want to gather around, go ahead. I will show you some things that we can do with a block today, but if you don't have one, don't worry about it. You don't need it to do this practice. And if you didn't want to use a block, we're going to be holding things kind of between our hands. So you could also use like a beach ball, or if you wanted to even use more resistance, you could even use a small weight or a weighted ball. So lots of options here. Find what works for you. And we'll go ahead and start just by bringing ourselves into this moment, into this practice, away from all the chaos and worries of our day. So we're going to set that all aside and see if we can focus on what's really actually happening in this moment, using all of our senses. Noticing what you can see and hear, smell and taste. Noticing what you can physically feel about being in this moment. Maybe you notice the surface below you where you're being supported. Maybe you begin to sense the air where it's touching your skin. And then let that awareness move a little deeper past the skin into the muscles, the bones, the joints, the organs. And as you bring awareness into the body, if you need to make any small adjustments or movements to get a little more supported, a little more at ease, you're always welcome to do that. And as we start to move through the physical practice, you're always welcome to make any adjustments or modifications that you need to, that feel right to you. I'm your guide today, but the practice is your own. Let's start to bring that awareness into the body breathing. You've been breathing this whole time. We're not going to change anything right now. We're just going to start to notice how the breath feels in the body. Maybe you notice the chest and belly expand and soften as you inhale and exhale. Maybe you can sense the breath moving past the nostrils or the lips as you breathe. Maybe you can even sense that subtle thin sensation of the breath moving past the back of the throat. And you can stay here with your awareness on your breath. You don't need to change anything. And if your mind wanders off, it's okay. Simply when you notice that, bring it back to noticing what you're sensing, noticing the breath. Or if you want, I'm going to lead us through a practice. Sometimes it's called ocean breath. I thought I'd go ahead and call it ocean breath today, since we have kind of a summery theme for the first week of summer. People call it ocean breath because when we do this breath, it makes a soft sound on the back of the throat, kind of sounds like ocean waves. So to find that, we're going to intensify that awareness and sensation of the breath on the back of the throat. So if you've ever fogged a mirror with your breath, that's the sensation we're going for. And if you want to, you can even try that to get the hang of this, to get a sense of what I'm talking about. You can take a breath in, and then when you exhale, imagine you're fogging a mirror. And you hear that sound, that sighing sound. It's a little loud when we have our mouth open. And then see if you can hold on to that sensation as you inhale and exhale. And again, if this tickles your throat or makes you cough and it's not comfortable, you don't have to do it. You can come back to that breath awareness. It's a beautiful practice to be aware of the breath. But if you do want to hold on to that, If you're able to breathe through your nose, you can close your jaw here, keep that sensation, and now it's going to be a little softer. Now it's sort of that soft sound of gentle ocean waves, or if you put your ear next to a seashell. And you can hold on to this breath as long as you'd like. You can release it anytime you want. You can even use it during our physical practice when we're moving and seeing how that impacts the experience of your practice. Let's take one more breath here like that. And then we're going to come out of this seated posture and we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. And let's take our knees a little bit wider than our hips, maybe out towards the edges of the mat. And the big toes can touch and the hips can draw back towards the heels. It's okay if you can't sit all the way onto your heels. If this is a little much for your knees, if you need more cushion, you can put a blanket or a towel under your knees, or maybe double up the mat. And if it's hurting kind of the back of your knees, or you can even put a rolled up blanket or a towel behind your knees so that you can put your weight onto that instead of directly onto your calves. And then let's walk the hands forward and let the back round. We're going to bring our forehead down to the mat. It might come all the way down or not. You could put a block there, or you could cross your arms or stack your fists. Some people find this restful, so if you want to use this as a rest pose, you can come back to it anytime you want. Anytime you want to rest or catch your breath or get refocused during our practice. Or if there's another posture you feel restful in, you can come back to that. And then from here, we're going to lift our head up a little bit and walk our hands over to the left side of the mat. And then we can put our head back down. And let's let our hips be heavy. See if you can imagine bringing that right hip down towards your right heel. Again, it's okay if it doesn't touch. We just want to feel like it's getting heavy in that direction, because that's going to let us open up through the right side of the body, through that shoulder, through the rib cage. Notice where you feel this. You might feel it in slightly different places than me, because you might hold tension in different places than I do. That's okay. And then let's walk our hands back to the middle, look up and over to the left. And we'll do the same thing. Let that left hip get heavy. Notice what you feel on the left side of your body. And even here, you might notice the left side feels different than the same pose on the other side. That's okay. Take a few breaths. Notice how this feels. Remember, you can always back off a little bit. If you start to feel that your breath is ragged or that you're holding your breath, that's your body sending a message you've gone too far. Just back out a little bit. If you don't come down so far. Let's inhale, walk hands back to the middle, look up, lift the hips off the heels. And let's bring the hips a little bit, or the knees in a little bit closer so that they're right underneath the hips. And bring the wrists right underneath the shoulders so that our spine is long. So we're pressing our fingertips and our thumb into the mat. The middle fingers are pointing to the front of the mat. I'll back up a little so you can see that better. And we're going to use the muscles around the trunk of our body here to keep the spine long. So we're sort of pulling back on the muscles of our abdomen, drawing them back towards the spine. Let's lengthen through the neck so we're looking down between the fingertips. This is a tabletop posture. Let's take another breath here. And then inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the collarbones. The arms stay strong here, so we're not bending the elbows. Keep pressing through the fingertips. Exhale, round the shoulders, dome up the back, tuck the tailbone. We're rounding through the back into cat pose. And then let's roll through these two a couple times. Inhale, lift to that cow pose. The back is arched. Exhale, round through the shoulders and the back is rounded. Couple more times. Go ahead and go at your own pace. Keep those arms strong. Last one, last inhale here. One more exhale. And then come back to tabletop. We're gonna come up to standing in a moment. I'm gonna talk us through to get there through a downward facing dog. So you're welcome to join me for that. Let's slide the hands forward a little bit. Fingertips are still spread wide. We're still pressing through the fingertips, but now our wrists are just a little bit in front of our shoulders. Let's tuck our toes under and use that strength in the trunk of our body. Pull the belly button back to spine. Use that to lift the knees. The knees are still bent as we push the front of the mat away. Lift our hips high. Chest comes towards our thighs. Once we're in that inverted V shape, that downward facing dog, we start to press our heels down, which lifts our knees up. But as you do that, if you notice that you start to round to your back and shift your shoulders forward like you're going to come into a plank, then bend the knees as much as you need to so that you can get that spine long and the hips high again. We're going to let that long spine be the priority before we try to straighten the legs. All right. Bending the knees even more. Let's look at the fingertips. Start to walk the hands and feet together. Walk the feet out a little wider towards the edges of the mat. We're in a forward fold with soft knees. Hands can stay on the mat, or you could use a block here to rest your hands, or you can press your hands against the front of your legs. If you let gravity help you out here, you can grab your elbows and hang here. And if having your head below your heart makes you dizzy, bend your knees, slide your hands above your knees, let your back stay rounded for this fold, but have your head above your heart. So lots of options here. Find what works best for you this morning. Let's take another breath. Bring our hands to our hips, press into our heels, activate the thighs to press ourselves back up to standing, and then we can shake that out. And bring our feet a little closer together. Let the feet be about hips distance apart, toes pointing forward, finding that sense that we're pressing down through the soles of our feet into the earth. Really feel the big toes, outside edges, and heels. Press down, and as you feel that pressure down through the soles of your feet, feel the muscles in your legs start to energize. So the legs are getting strong. Feel that energizing feeling. Move up the trunk of the body. Those muscles are going to help your spine stay long all the way through the top of your head. The back of the neck is long. And with that whole body energized, we're also going to let there be a sense of ease. So let's soften through the forehead and eyebrows. Let's soften in the jaw. Let's let the top of the shoulders drop down from our ears. Our arms are at ease at our sides. We are going to rotate that bone of the upper arm in the shoulder socket so that the belly of the arm and the palms of the hands face forward, because that lets our shoulder blades slide gently down our back, lets our chest open so that we have lots of room to breathe. And then let's check those knees. If they are locked out, let's let them soften. Our legs are strong, but they still have a sense of ease there. We're not rigid. All right, beautiful. Take a breath here. Let it go. Maybe use that ocean breath. We're going to inhale, reach the arms out and overhead. As much as you're able. If you can't come all the way up, that's okay. Come as far as your rotation lets you. And then we're going to exhale and bring the hands down towards the heart. Thumbs might be resting just against the heart. You might even feel a couple heartbeats here. Inhale. We're going to reach back up. Let the palms face forward. Let the hips come forward, the chest lift. So we're in a little back bend. You can lift so that you're looking up. If that feels good for your neck, I'm going to keep looking forward. Exhale. Let's lengthen up through the top of the head. Let the arms come gently back to the sides. And then let's repeat that once more. Inhale, big sun breath up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale. Back bend. And exhale, release. And that is beautiful. We are going to do this next set of movements, and our hands are just going to shift in front of us. So if you don't have a block or a ball, that's fine. Imagine that you're holding something here. It's about 12 inches from side to side, about that distance. It's kind of your hips distance, right about your skeletal hips, more or less. But if you do have a block or a ball or something that you can hold on to, then you can use your hands to hold something right there. All right. And we'll inhale, and we're going to reach the arms up and overhead, and then exhale into a side bend. Inhale to center, exhale other side. Inhale to center, and then exhale, we're going to shift the weight a little bit to our heels, bend the knees, lower the hips like you're about to sit in a chair, and we're going to lower our arms out in front of us so that our wrists are in line with our shoulders. Hold here for a couple breaths in this chair posture. All right. One more breath here, and then next inhale, let's bring the arms back overhead. And let's do that again. Exhale into side bend. Inhale to center. Exhale into side bend. Inhale to center. And then exhale, let's lower it back down to chair. Take a couple breaths. Don't forget to breathe. Remember, if you shift your weight just a little bit to your heels, that's going to help with that center of gravity. Draw the navel in, so we're still using that core strength. And then inhale, let's come back up. And exhale, release. If you need to shake that out a little bit, go ahead. We're going to do a little bit more challenge for our balance. Balance always is challenging for the trunk of our body to help us stay there. I'm going to move a little bit next to my wall. So if you want to be near something for a little support, you can. And again, I'll show this where you're using a block or not. So it's totally up to you. So let's find ourselves back in that mountain. Get settled here. Get balanced here when we're on 2 feet, because we are going to be on 1 foot for part of this practice. And again, you can start with this block in between your hands or not. You can skip the block. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. And we're going to inhale and reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, we're going to start to shift the weight into the right foot and lift the left knee and bring the block towards the left knee. Or if you're not using a block, bring your hands towards your knee. Inhale, lower the foot back down, reach arms overhead again. And if you want to, you could use your hand here for a little bit of steadiness, maybe a sturdy chair or a wall. Exhale. Right hand comes to left knee. Inhale, back up tall. Let's do that a couple more times. Exhale. Hands meet the knee or the block meets the knee. Inhale. And one more this side. Exhale. And inhale. Beautiful. And then we're going to come to the other side. So if you need to move to another wall or move your chair to the other side, go ahead. And let's come back to being steady in our mountain. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, bring the right knee up, lower the arms down. Inhale, foot comes down, arms come up. Exhale, so we're kind of doing a crunch here, bringing hands to knee. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And release. Shake it out. All right, we have one more standing flow to do, and then we'll come down to the mat and do some work there, and then we get to rest. So come back to the center of your mat if you need to move back onto your mat, and we'll let the feet come a little wider. Let the heels maybe be as wide as your mat. The toes can open up a little wider than that. We're going to be moving down into a squat. So go ahead and find the angle for your toes. So it works for your hips, works for your knees, and works for your ankles. So feel free to adjust this for your body. And we'll start with our hands in front again, right in line with the hips, maybe using a block or a ball or not. And then let's inhale, reach the arms overhead again. And we'll come back into that side bend, that crescent moon. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's think about lowering back down into a squat, this time with wide legs. See if you can keep the hips right under the shoulders. So resist that urge to come forward. See if you can keep your spine long. You don't have to come down super far. The lowest I want you to go is hips in line with the knees. If you don't come quite that far, that's okay. And then inhale, press through the heels, lift through the arms, back overhead. Let's do that again. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, let's lower back down again. Take a couple breaths here. And then let's fold forward. Hands can come down to the mat. Bend the knees as much as you need to and come all the way back onto the mat. If you want to take a couple breaths here in child's pose, go ahead. You can check in with how you feel or any other posture that helps you feel at ease. We're done with all our standing work. We're going to do some work here on the mat. So when you're ready, you can press yourself up. And let's come over onto our seats with bent knees and feet on the mat in front of us. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to sit up tall to where we're sitting right on our sits bone, that bony part of our seat. So a lot of times when we sit, we have a tendency to round the back and tuck the tailbone and kind of sit on the tailbone. We're going to tilt the pelvis so that we're sitting up on our sits bones, and notice now how that helps us lengthen through the spine. Feet are on the mat. Hands can be behind your thighs for some support here because this can already be really challenging, or they can be at your sides for a little support. Just let the shoulders be at ease. Or you can have your hands out in front of you, palms facing each other, either with or without a block. All right. And we're going to do a little bit of a high crunch here. So we're not going to go all the way to the floor. We're going to inhale, lean back as far as you can, still keeping that long spine. Draw the navel in. That core strength is what's going to help us move here. And then exhale, hold the belly button all the way back to the spine. Use that strength to bring yourself back up tall again. And let's do that a few times. Inhale, lean back. With control, can you keep that spine long? Can you keep that sensation that you're pulling the belly back? Exhale, come forward. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lean back. And exhale, come forward. Last one. Inhale, let's lean back. And exhale, pull ourselves back up. If you're using a block or a ball, you can put it to the side. Maybe give yourself a little hug here. Lift through the chest. And then exhale. Let's lower ourselves down all the way to the mat. With control, you can use your hands for support or not. You could have the hands back out here again, all the way down if you wanted to. All right. We're going to do a little twist here. So I'm going to show you a couple different options. You can keep your feet on the mat with bent knees. You can bring your hands up in front of you here. Without the block. Actually, we're going to do a transfer first before we do a twist. Almost forgot. I don't want to take that away from you. Or you could use the block or a ball here. And then inhale, we're going to reach the arms over the head. Oh, I need to move a little further away from my wall. So if you're using a block or a ball, it may touch the earth, it may not. Otherwise, you would be here with your hands, just like this. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift the arms back up towards the ceiling And lift the feet off the ground and bring the knees towards the hands, hands towards the knees. So this is another crunch. And then we're going to transfer that block or that ball if you're using it. And then inhale, lower the feet back down, reach the arms overhead. And then let's do that again. Exhale. If you're using a prop, you can transfer it. Inhale. Feet back on the ground, arms overhead. Let's do another set of that. Exhale, transfer, inhale, and then last one like that. Exhale, last transfer here, inhale. Beautiful. All right, we're going to keep the knees bent. You can keep the feet on the mat here. Let's bring the arms back to where they're reaching towards the ceiling. And then here's that twist. Promised you would get there. We're going to inhale, let the arms come to the left. The right shoulder can lift up. This is a twist. And then the knees are going to fall the opposite way towards the right, so the left hip can lift up. Inhale, come back to center. Or exhale, come back to center. Inhale, come to the opposite side. Exhale, back to center. You can keep feet on the ground. You can also do this with feet lifted. A little bit more energy is required. Inhale. Exhale, back to center. Inhale. And exhale, back to center. If the feet are lifted, let's bring them back down to the earth. And if you are using a block or a ball, you are welcome to now place that between the knees. You don't have to. It does give you a little bit more of an energetic feeling as you're squeezing the block or the ball between the knees. And we're going to bring the feet so that the ankles are almost under the knees because we're going to lift ourselves up into a bridge. So we want to be able to use that energy of pressing the feet down. Let's let the arms come long next to the sides of the body, palms down. We're going to press through the soles of the feet, press through the palms of the hands, the forearms, and the triceps. And as we press down, we're going to lift from the hips, lift the low back, lift the middle back, maybe tuck the shoulder blades under so our hips are lifted, our chest is lifted, the bridge is lifting. Exhale, then we come back down. One vertebrae at a time. Middle back, and the lower back, and then the tailbone. And let's do a couple more of those. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Let's do two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Very last bridge. Inhale. And exhale. Feel free to put that block aside or that ball or whatever you're using. Let's pull our knees in towards our chest. You can hug the knees in here, maybe rock a little bit and give that low back a massage. If you like having the knees come out wide, you can come into happy baby with the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. Maybe grab the back of the thighs or the outside edges of the feet or the toes. You can also do a reclined butterfly here with the soles of the feet together. We're about to rest, so pick an option that feels right for you. Allows your body to start to be at ease and cool down. You can rock a little bit here. If the knees are wide, let's bring them back to the center. Lower the feet back down to the mat. Let the arms come out to the sides, either in a T shape, palms down, or maybe bend the elbows to 90 degrees, palms up. We're going to keep the shoulder blades on the mat this time as we come into a twist. So the knees can fall over to the left. If they don't come all the way down to the earth and that feels a little awkward, you could use a block or a pillow or something to support them. See if you can keep the shoulder blades down to the best of your ability, even if that means having to have your legs a little higher. This is our chance just to let everything kind of settle down before we rest. And then inhale, we can come back to the center and go to the other side. Exhale. Inhale, let's come back to center. And then notice if there's any other movement or any other shape that you want to come into so that you're ready to rest. And then when you're ready to, go ahead and get into a posture where you can feel supported and at ease for the next few minutes. You can use any blankets or pillows or any other gear to help you feel supported and at ease. If you want to dim your lights, you're welcome to. If you have been using that ocean breath or any other breath control, you can let that go right now. Let your body start to breathe its natural rhythm again. Notice that there's nothing you need to do for your body to breathe. It does it all on its own. The breath comes and goes without any additional effort. If you want, you can let the eyes soften. They can even close if you want to. And then letting that awareness, that observation move into everything that you're experiencing right now. Any thoughts, any images, any sounds, any emotions. And as an observer, notice that all of those experiences are coming and going in your awareness, just like the breath comes and goes in the body. There's nothing you need to do right now. This is your time just to let everything be just as it is. This is your time to rest and simply be. You can be here as long as you like. And then when you're ready to come back into your day, you can make small movements or stretch. And then you can start to deepen your breath or even take a deep breath and let it go with a sigh. Simply noticing how you feel. Noticing if there's anything from your practice that you want to take with you into your daily life or into your next practice. And giving yourself gratitude for taking time today for your health and wellness. And I thank you for sharing your practice with me and for sharing it with Operation Remote Resilience. I hope you enjoyed our practice today. This video will be available shortly on the Warriors at Ease YouTube channel. So feel free to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our practices. And also, if you get a chance, visit the link in the description below and consider making a donation so that we can continue to make these practices free for all. It is viewers like you that make it possible for teachers like me to provide these services. So once again, I thank you. And this is Aron signing off of Operation Remote Resilience and Health, Resilience, and Connection.